It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCoe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a tremendous day. We're all just waiting. We're all just baiting time until it is Game 6 coming up tonight. It is the Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth in Delta Center. TV analyst for the Mammoth, kind enough to join us, Dom Moore. Dom, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are awesome. It's actually a good vibe Friday, and we're trying to use all the karma we can to help the boys.
I love it. Yeah, good vibes.
The one thing we've been talking about a lot is, the fact that this has been a really evenly played series, except for a couple of spurts here and there. And really it's about trying to execute a little better and tighten things up. But from your vantage point, what's your take on the series thus far, and what do the Mammoth need to do in your mind to win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the ironic thing was that Game 5 was the best game that the Mammoth have played all series, and they lost. And so, it's interesting when you look at the series. Obviously, it's been as unpredictable as you'll ever see a series get. Lead changes, comebacks, right when you most expect something to happen, the opposite occurs. I mean, it's been crazy. But for Utah's money, they controlled the game in Game 5. I felt like Vegas really got what Utah gave them and not really much else. You couldn't say that about previous games. There were, the previous 4 games, there were long stretches of the game where Vegas dominated Utah, had the puck in Utah's zone for long stretches and was wearing Utah down. Pamelka had to hold down the fort. That was not at all the case in Game 5, and yet somehow Vegas won the game just from these little, lapses in focus, penalties being one of them, a couple of minutes at the end of the second period, giving up those 2 quick goals, giving up the lead at the end of the second period. Those were big moments that made all the difference in not coming out with a victory. So while that sounds like a negative, it, in a lot of ways, it should give Utah confidence that, they can control the game when they play their game and just play with a little bit more discipline and a little bit more focus in tiny moments. They should be able to take care of business. I think that gives them a little bit of confidence going into Game 6.
So you can't tell the story of this series without talking about power plays and Utah's inability to score on the power play, but they've been exceptional for the most part in penalty kills. So what is it that needs to happen for this power play to get some goals across? Because it just seems like it's been a frustrating issue for the Mammoth in this series.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the season in its entirety, the power play has been a point of frustration for most of the year. Utah, until the last month of the season, maybe the last 6 weeks of the season, was either dead last or second last in the power play for most of the season. And then all of a sudden, Cooley comes back from his injury, and they get red hot, down the stretch, which ended up being very important for Utah getting into the playoffs. Is, how many of those crunch time games they got a power play goal that made all the difference. And so going into the playoffs, they had great vibes on the power play, and then all of a sudden it's reared its ugly head again where they just can't seem to buy one. So, I think the horses are there. The potential is there for them to break through. But this is a team that struggled with it all year. So you just don't know whether all of a sudden they're going to find their mojo again on that or not. But, the flip side of it is that they've scored more goals than Vegas at 5-on-5. So, and they've been a great 5-on-5 team all season long, among the best in the league offensively and defensively, if you look at all the underlying metrics. So a big part of their success has to be stay out of the box, and try to keep the game at 5-on-5, because that plays to their advantage.
How do you feel like the young guys have handled their first playoffs? It felt like Keller got a little loose, a little more into a groove in Game 5. But overall, how have you felt like they've approached their time here in the playoffs?
I think regardless of the way tonight goes, there's a ton of positives in relation to the question you asked. If you look at it, okay, Logan Cooley, Dylan Guenther, the youngest guys on the team who've never played in the playoffs, they've been amazing. Aside from, I would say, game 5, where Cooley got a little off his game, they were roughing him up, and he just kind of lost his emotions there for a little while. But by and large, both Cooley and Guenther have been excellent. They've showed that they can handle these big moments. They show that they're ready for the fight, the toughness that ramps up in the playoffs. And then the other three that I think everyone was wanting to see how they would respond are Krause, Schmaltz, and Keller. Krause has been lights out, elevated his game beyond where it was in the regular season. I think anyone who knows Lawson Krause maybe isn't surprised, but he hadn't had a lot of playoff experience. He never played a home playoff game before this year. He's been awesome. I think, Keller, Game 1, Keller and Schmaltz, Game 1 was a struggle. They were mostly, invisible, because they just were overwhelmed by the pace of the game, the lack of time and space to make plays. But to their credit, especially Keller, I think he's been amazing since then. I think his ability to adapt and adjust his game, he's a guy that the critics would say is not built for this time of year, but he is amazed and impressed me in a big way with how he's responded. And the key is that he's become so good at making plays in tight spaces and without a lot of time. And yes, he doesn't have the size, but if you can excel in making outstanding plays when you have a split second to make it, and time is closing down on you, then you can still excel at this time of year. And he has done that. He has been amazing in my view.
How would you grade out Veggie throughout this series?
Excellent games 1 through 4. Excellent throughout those. Better numbers than he had in the regular season. Game 5, he was good, and he made a couple spectacular saves at key times, including 2 breakaways. And so, like, on that side of the ledger, you're like, wow, he really stepped up. But then there was a couple moments in Game 5 where he dipped a little bit. And the one was the Theodore goal that was not screen shot from out pretty far, just missed it. And then the goalie exchange there right before that was just a little sloppy as well. So, I think he's he's played a lot of hockey. Maybe there's some fatigue there, especially when you get to these overtime games that would be fully justified given how much he's carried the load for the team all season. But for the most part, he's held up his end of the bargain, and I think everyone in Utah is hoping for a bounce back from him tonight.
Just so 3 series yet to be decided in the first round. Obviously, the Mammoth tonight, which we all know that's going to go Game 7, right? I mean, it's good Vibe Friday.
Yes,
so
sir.
We got to think that way. Give me your opinion on the Bruins and the Sabres series, and then the Lightning and the Canadiens. You think both of those can get finished out by the team with the advantage?
Boy, that's a good one. These playoffs have been so amazing in terms of, like, you've got all these new teams in the playoffs that, haven't been there for a while. Anaheim, Buffalo. Anaheim defeats the 2-time Stanley Cup defending finalists. The greatest player in the world is eliminated. I mean, what a great story in Anaheim. Montreal, this young upstart team, who I think in a lot of ways is very similar in their rebuild to Utah. They have the juggernaut Lightning on the ropes, and who knows which way that one will go. But either way, it's been exciting to watch. And then, of course, the Sabres have the Bruins, but the Bruins seem to be picking up steam. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see both of those series go 7. I would love nothing more than to go back to Vegas and see the first Game 7 in Utah Mammoth history.
Bear mentioned at Morning Skate that there were some game time decisions. Hayton was able to get out on the ice in Game 5. I think he is still listed as game time. And then Jack McBain seems like he's getting closer. I don't know if he'll be able to go tonight, but if he is, what does that mean to that lineup for the Mammoth?
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. But, yeah, McBain's been a huge loss. When you think about, how physical and big and heavy the Vegas Golden Knights are, not having McBain in, who's, pretty healthy antidote to that, has been a big loss for Andre Tourigny when he looks down his bench and doesn't see number 22. I mean, he does so much for the team, not just in terms of his physical play, but he kills penalties. He wins faceoffs. He balances out the lineup to a degree that allows Andre Tourigny to have more flexibility with how he deploys his lines versus the Vegas lines. Like that cat and mouse game is really important in playoffs, the way the coaches, match up their lines. And I think that Andre's been a little bit handcuffed in that regard, not having Hayton and McBain available. So we'll see what happens tonight, one way or the other. If McBain or Hayton do play, we know that they're not 100%. It's just a matter of what they can bring to the table to help the team. What's
been your experience like at Delta Center for the playoff games? We kind of knew what everybody was in for because we've lived here a long time, and the playoffs just bring it on the ice, but also in the stands. But speak about the kind of the home ice advantage and how that could play an effect or have an effect. Sorry.
Yeah. Obviously, I've been around the league and played over 100 playoff games in different environments, and so I've seen it all. And there's something special about the Delta Center. And I think when I try to put my finger on what it is, I think it's just the oneness, the unity that you have in that building because of how steep it is on all sides. It just feels more intimate than anywhere else. And there's places like, Montreal, the Bell Center in Montreal has an incredible atmosphere. It's the biggest arena in the league. Most fans, you can feel it there, but it's a different feel in Utah just because of the intimacy of how together everyone feels in the Delta Center, and it's been amazing to be a part of it. I think everyone that's been at any of these playoff games so far has felt that. And I expect it to go to another level tonight for Game 6 when the stakes are even higher and the energy around the state has never been like this for this team. So excited to be a part of that.
All right, so, Dom, before we let you go, write the script for me. Utah wins this game tonight if ... You finish the sentence, sir.
Let's see. If they stay out of the penalty box,
yeah,
that was a key in the last game. I think just channeling their emotions, because there's going to be a lot of emotions, energy from positive or negative. That you got to be able to channel that energy into a good way. So I would say penalties, and then they have to get off to a good start. And that was not the case in both of the previous home games. So that's probably the other key, is getting off to a good start.
Is there like a goal? I mean, like 6 minutes or 8 minutes. Like if you're at that number or under, that's an acceptable number, because there will be penalties. I've got to imagine. Is there an acceptable amount, or is it just like, hey, let's keep it at 0?
I think the impetus is to try to keep it at 0, knowing that there's going to be a couple calls that you just, sometimes there's a penalty you have to take, or you're making a good aggressive play and just there's a bad luck situation. It's the ones where, you're retaliating for something and losing your cool. That kind of penalty is not acceptable when the margins are as small as they are.
Well, we appreciate your time. Have a great call tonight. You guys have killed it all season long. Can't wait to catch the game. But Dom, again, we appreciate you taking a moment out of your day to hang out with us.
My pleasure, guys. Yep. Enjoy the game.
There he is. Dom Moore, TV analyst for the Utah Mammoth, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I've learned some good hockey from Dom this year.
Yes.
Does a great job, and he mentioned it. He's been in a ton of these situations himself, so the hockey has been great. It's been great league-wide. A lot of intriguing series.
There's no doubt. And that's, one thing that's been a byproduct of watching the Mammoth, especially in these playoffs, is now I'm watching all the playoff games. If it's on, I'm watching it. Actually,
Above
probably
the
more
NBA?
than the
Yeah.
NBA playoffs. Never thought I'd say that before, but wow.
No, I know. I'm actually feeling the same way. Last night I was like, I'm going to watch a little hockey.
Yeah, like what's on? And that's how my boy is the same. We watch a lot of sports together, and he's like, hey, is there a hockey game on? I'm like, well, the Mammoth aren't playing. He's like, I don't care. I want to watch some hockey.
Absolutely.
Like, all right, let's go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Time to spin the wheel and talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what? Look, we get evaluated on a lot of things because we say, at least I say, a lot of dumb things, and Lloyd will keep track of it. But now Lloyd's commenting on how our behavior is on camera, and now you can go on YouTube and you can check out the show there at KSLSports.com as well. But if you go to YouTube, just search KSL Sports, and you'll get a live video feed of the show. And so now not only is Lloyd chastising us for how we sound, it's also how we look and how we're presenting ourselves on camera. So
you guys just sat at the exact same time. It was kind of weird. It was just kind of strange.
Look,
what we're working on is there's going to be a new event in the Olympics. It's
synchronized seating,
synchronized code hosting, and so it's just basically two guys that work together, one pulling the other along. And, yeah, if you can synchronize, you get extra points. And we did. We sat down together. That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. But at the same time, we're standing up talking to people.
Yep.
We're coming back on. It's probably natural to sit down.
I mean, we heard the music on. It was time to sit, start a show.
If we would have kept standing, what are you standing for?
Lloyd was, when I was doing a show solo a couple of weeks ago, Lloyd was sending me screenshots of what I was looking like on the camera. He's like, you got to tighten this up, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
All right.
When?
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
You thought I lifted up my mic once, and you're like, hey, put your mic down. You look stupid. I'm like,
oh, I don't know if it was that hard. I don't know if it was that bad. And,
rough,
Coach,
man.
you need to stop adjusting your mic.
Do I do it all the time?
A little bit.
It's a habit.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
And you manhandle it, too.
Get it where I don't
Coach Witt thinks you're a little rough on the headset.
The guy that snapped it?
Snapped it right in half. Just whack.
Okay, I'm not going to touch my mic the rest of the show.
All right. We got a bunch of stories on the roulette wheel, so let's fire it up. Let's spin that wheel. Again, if you're just new to the show, Sports Roulette, we take some of the big storylines, we put it on a roulette wheel, we spin it, and wherever that little white ball lands is what we end up talking about. So, Lloyd, let's get to it.
Show me a new home for a new cougar.
All right.
Or for a former cougar,
Kennard
excuse me.
There we go. Kennard Davis leaving BYU in the transfer portal and now is going to the Show Me State. He's going to Missouri to play in the SEC. How much of a loss is this for the Cougars?
No, I think they've addressed that position probably in a little better way. He struggled to be consistent shooting the three. I liked his toughness, but I do feel like they can, with Chandler, getting Chandler, as a guy that can really shoot out on the wing, will help them. But I wish him the best, and it's going to be that in this age of college basketball. You get an 8-month visit, and then for a lot of those guys, show me the next spot.
That's, honestly, an 8-month visit's about right.
No, it is. It is. That you only get 48 hours to decide if you want them for 8 months.
Yeah, exactly. So Kennard Davis on his way to playing for Missouri. He made that announcement on social media just a few moments ago. All right, Lloyd, spin it.
Do you really care?
All right. I know I'm going to anger some people out there. People really, really love horse racing, and they really love the Kentucky Derby. I've tried. Locke tried to get me into how to bet the ponies a little bit about a decade ago. Look, I'm always down for a good wager here and there. I just can't seem to wrap my brain around horse racing. It's never been something I've been really overly fired up about. It's never been anything I've never really tried to watch or spend a lot of time watching. I know some people absolutely love it, but I know it's a big event coming up this weekend. I probably will not be watching that.
Yeah, I'm actually I pick by the name of the horse, and I don't spend any time. They say, they say the thing starts at 4:00, and about 5:15 they get done with the pomp and circumstance. They actually get those babies in the starting gates and go. I have a really good buddy that's really into quarter horse racing and breeding, and so that's something I've actually been able to kind of go see really close and get down, on the grounds and see. But I did walk the Kentucky Derby. I was out in Louisville recruiting. And I'm glad I went out and actually walked around Churchill Downs. I typically pick the horse by name, and so I'm just perusing the name right now. And the odds have to kind of add up too. But I'm going to go with Further Ado.
Further Ado.
In honor of you.
Without further ado, Lloyd.
That being said,
let's. And
it's 6-1.
6. That's not bad.
If you guys want to look it over and pick yours, we could have a.
All right, hold on. Let's see what. Right to Party.
Well, that's scratched. That was going to be
he's
mine.
out?
Yeah,
Okay.
That was my first.
Because I was going to say, with Party
Commandment,
House.
that's kind of.
Commandment, wow.
You seem very.
The Puma getting 10-1 odds.
Wonder Dean,
yeah.
Incredibolt, Chief Wallaby.
That's it. That's my guy.
Chief Wallaby.
Or at least that's my horse.
All right.
Chief
and he
Wallaby.
is an 8-1.
8-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little Dan and Bourbon.
Ooh.
What odds you getting there?
14,
Yeah, what are your odds?
14-1.
Ooh.
Okay.
You can cash in.
Well,
pretty
you will
good there.
you'll take it if you win, but we'll see if any of us can win, place, or show. Then we got some watching fodder.
See, now
That's always more fun.
Now we've got something to pay attention to. All right, Lloyd, spin it.
Who moves on tonight?
All right, so not only do you have a Game 6 for the Utah Mammoth, you've got 3 Game 6s in the NBA with 3 teams leading 3-2. So I'm going to go through each one of these games. You tell me, out of these 3, who closes out their series tonight. Orlando leads Detroit 3-2. Is this one going to go 7?
It will go 7. Pistons win tonight.
Pistons will win, force a Game 7, try to avoid the massive upset there. Although, honestly, you look at them on paper and you look at the talent the Magic have, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised by this one.
No, the reason the Magic have 45 wins is injury.
Yeah.
Jake and I last 2 years have been watching them, and where they're at full strength, they're scary. And their guys are young guys, like Anthony Black has blossomed and gotten better. But no, that'll be a fun one. I just feel like the Pistons winning that many games this year, I think they can get it to a Game 7.
It will be on the road. It is in Orlando, so Orlando's going to try to close out at home and knock off the Pistons. If Detroit can win, they'll shift it back to Detroit for game number 7. All right, so Cleveland on the road. They're up 3-2 against the Raptors. I'm going to say Cleveland closes out tonight.
And I'm going to say the Raptors, too.
Nice.
Not close out, but they keep it going.
Keep it going for Game 7.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like, Donovan has not shot the ball well in this series. Last game, Harden kind of bailed him out. But I just think the Raptors, and the crazy part to me is Emmanuel Quickley is so important to this Raptors team, and he hasn't played at all in this series and won't. So the fact that the Raptors are keeping it close, they're doing it with Jamal Shed and young guys kind of filling in at that point guard spot. But I think they've got enough toughness, and it's in Toronto tonight. Crazy things happen in Canada. Toronto makes that go Game 7.
Going to have some Tim Hortons and extend this series out a little bit.
Give me a Horton, eh?
My brother's drunk, eh? By the way, Toronto, beautiful city.
I want to go. I'm jealous that you.
Well, I was only there for 16 hours.
I mean, you kind of saw it, right?
Yeah, I flew in.
Saw maybe a block.
The day of the game, watched the game, and then was out at 5 a.m. the next morning.
And didn't you say it was like frigid cold?
Oh, it was ridiculously cold. Yeah.
It's the closest I got to. We went to Niagara Falls. It's a great story. In fact, we played Buffalo up there.
Oh, really?
And we played them in Buffalo, but Coach Rose, his wife, liked to go on trips, and she wanted to go stay, in Niagara Falls. So we ended up staying on the Canadian side. And so on game day, the Border Patrol was very, very lengthy in their search of our bus.
Oh, okay.
And was pushing our time of getting to the school on time to get everything ready. So it was just kind of it was one of those moments. Everybody's sitting in the bus like, why did we go to Canada? But it was awesome. But I get cold because it was freezing. I got out there by the falls in the wintertime. Whoa.
Well, and the other thing, too, everybody thinks the Canadians are all crazy polite, and the majority they are, until it comes to coming back in from the, coming in and out of the country. They tighten it up pretty quick.
Tighten it up, but hey, man, they should.
Yeah. All right, and finally, the Lakers up 3-2 against the Rockets. That game in Houston. Does this series end tonight?
Yes.
All right, so that's the one you're going to say closes out.
Yes, and nothing. The Rockets won last game, but nothing they've done really this series has given me much to think that they're able to beat the Lakers. And LeBron, hey man, you got to give him his flowers at his age to be able to continue to kind of drag a team along while Luka's on the bench. Pretty cool.
LeBron was asked the proverbial, what do you take on the argument, LeBron versus Jordan? And he's like, I don't even want to talk about this, 2 different eras. And yes, I don't think there is a more ridiculous argument than trying to compare those two. Who's the greatest of all time?
No, it's a hard one. And you know what ends up happening is everybody just goes to their generation.
Exactly. I was on a bus, a Utah State bus, either going to a game or coming back from a game. And I saw one of the nastiest arguments, verbal arguments I've ever seen between an assistant coach and a player, and it was LeBron versus Jordan. And it's like, of course, the young guy took LeBron, the old guy took Jordan, and it's just like, and they tried to drag me in the middle of it. I'm like, I want no part of this, because you're both right. They're both the GOATs, just of different eras. I mean, it's fine. One doesn't have to be below the other. One doesn't have to be above the other.
No, they do.
No, they don't.
Do.
Lloyd.
Not on Good Vibe Friday, Lloyd.
I imagine,
save it for Monday.
Are you going Jordan, Lloyd, then?
Of course.
Well, I picked Jordan, too. If I'm up against it. But the crazy thing is when you roll out what LeBron, like his hardware, it's staggering.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
and look
staggering.
at the teams he put together. Yeah.
Okay. All right, see, look, we're not doing this. No, don't drag
Not on Friday, Lloyd.
Don't drag me into this, Lloyd.
But I will say, like, I grew up hearing, from my dad how great the Big O was.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? And Wilt. And so you are going to be partial to your let's just put it this way. They're both really super good. Super, super good.
Yeah. And the fact that he's going as, putting together as long as he has, and everything that's gone into it has just been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, there you go. 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, we'll wrap this thing up, set the stage for Jake and Ben. 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.